The sailors said, Brandy, what a fine girl, what a good wife you would be. But my life, my love, and my lady is harmless phosphorescence. Hello, everyone. This is Throw Smiley, and I was cybernetically engineered to be a douchebag. Who's joining me this week?
I have a name what strikes fear into the hearts of my foes. It's Josh.
I'm Brian Lesh, and we're really going to be able to jack up our prices if we're two-time Galaxy Savers.
I am triangle-faced monkey Alaric Weber.
And this is Harmless Phosphorescence. It's a podcast where we watch every theatrically released full-length live-action superhero movie ever made. We gather some research into the production and the source material, then we tell you all about it. This show is brought to you by patrons like executive producers Michael Beckwith and Atticus Burkett. You can be a patron too. Just head on over to patreon.com/harmless entertainment. We got lots of bonus content there. We've got like monthly movie stuff, a different movie every month. This month we're going to be doing Clue. We've got music shows, we got Star Wars stuff, so head over, check it out. This week, though, on Harmless Phosphorescence, we are going to be watching Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
The fate of the universe lies on your shoulders. Now, whatever you do, don't push this button. Because that will set off the bomb immediately, and we'll all be dead. Now repeat back what I just said.
I am Groot.
No! No, that's the button that will kill everyone. Try again.
I am Groot.
Mm-hmm.
I am Groot.
Uh-huh.
I am Groot.
No!
Showtime, a-holes!
Tape out there. I want to put some tape over the death button.
Nobody has any tape.
Not a single person has tape.
You have an atomic bomb in your bag. If anybody's gonna have tape, it's you.
I have to do everything.
You are wasting a lot of time.
That's a really bad sign.
If I touch someone, I can feel their feelings. You feel love.
Yeah, I feel a general unselfish love for just about everybody.
No, sexual love.
No, I don't.
For her.
No.
See, you just told everyone your deepest, darkest secret.
Dude, come on. I think you're overreacting a little bit.
You must be so embarrassed. Do me.
Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 2. It was released on May 5th, 2017. It has a running time of 137 minutes. It cost $200 million, and it made $863 million. So that's, typical Marvel numbers there.
Yeah.
This one, I don't know. I personally really like this one, maybe even more than the first one, but I know that's not a popular opinion.
No, it's my opinion as well.
Interesting.
And the first one was great, so, they just turned it up to 11, if you ask me. It's not like the first one wasn't.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah, the first one was great. We got to spend a lot more time with the characters this time. I was wondering, guys, are you all ready to play the box office top 10 game?
And how?
Always.
I am Groot.
This is the game where I'm going to describe the top 10 movies of the week of May 5th, 2017. The guys are going to try to guess what movie I'm describing based on the Box Office Mojo description and whatever else I do to change that up. Yeah, that's the game. You ready to jump in here, fellas?
Yes, sorry.
Yeah. All right. Coming in at number 10 for the week of May 5th, 2017. A mysterious map sets our heroine and her friends on an exciting race through a forbidden forest, leading to a discovery.
It's Dora the Explorer. Is that right?
No, it is not. It is not Dora.
Well, then that's ridiculous.
John F. Kennedy.
That Dante's P2. All right.
This is it's an animated film. It's one that I just found out existed, and it's based on a much older property. They made some live action movies of this. It was originated in the 80s.
Pippi Longstocking?
No,
movie?
No, that one's way older. Oh,
she never needed a map. She's a superhero.
Yeah. Well, basically,
Badass.
she is. Oh God, I'd love to do the Pippi movies.
Let's add that to the list, Thoreau.
Oh, they're on the list. The Pippi movies are on there.
Good man.
The 2 apple dumpling gang. All right. This was in the 80s.
It came. Yeah. It's
Strawberry Shortcake.
You're on the right track.
Thinking redheads.
It's called Smurfs: The Lost Village.
Was there another lady Smurf in the Lost Village? Is that why they went there?
Yeah.
Like we need
I
to
think the
expand
second
people.
one, there's another female. I don't know.
We got another girl, guys.
You know, it probably would have
Yeah.
been better to have a village full of women instead.
Oh God,
We
yeah.
can finally have a dance.
I think in the second Smurfs movie, live action, there was a second female, but they were slightly off from Smurfs. Gargamel created a couple more because he created Smurfette in the beginning.
Yeah.
They were not quite
In the
Smurfish, but I was sitting in a dental office and saw 15 minutes of
Al
Smurfs.
is up on his Smurf lore.
That seems like that's worse than a dentist appointment, is
I
watching
know.
that movie.
That sounds smurfing awful.
Yeah. Number 9. Coming in number 9 in the box office top 10. Desperate to pay the bills and come through for their loved ones, 3 lifelong pals risk it all by embarking on a daring bid to knock off the very bank that absconded with their money. This stars Morgan Freeman, Michael Caine, and Alan Arkin.
Oh, I remember this.
The tagline is, "You're never too old to get even."
All right.
Old dogs?
No, not old dogs.
Get off my lawn.
That doesn't have Clint Eastwood in it.
It's got a title that's not very memorable. It's called Going in Style.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, no one was ever going to guess that. Number 8 in the box office top 10 this week. Frank, a single man raising his child prodigy niece Mary, is drawn into a custody battle with his mother. Hey, this stars Chris Evans.
Frank.
It's Chris Evans, McKenna Grace, Lindsay Duncan, Jenny Slate, and Octavia Spencer. Directed by what's-his-face that did 500 Days of Summer.
I've seen this, and I don't remember what it's called. Van Sant? Is that the director?
No, it's not Gus.
No. Who did?
It was, I think he did a superhero movie, I think, didn't he? I think we saw one. There was a superhero movie that we did with him. I can't remember what it was, though.
I don't.
Oh, he did
It's the
Amazing
girl's-
Spider-Man. He did the Amazing Spider-Mans.
It's the girl's name, isn't it?
No, it's not. It's
No?
a single word, and it does refer to the girl, but it's super generic, the title.
Daughter.
No. It's Gifted.
Girl fight.
Girl
Gifted.
fight. Gifted. Yeah. Coming in at number 7. Oh, wow. Okay. When Shiva learns about his heritage, he begins to look for answers. His story is juxtaposed with past events that unfolded in the Mahishmati kingdom.
Oh.
Yeah, this is
Bhagavad Gita, the movie?
This is a sequel. It's it's an Indian film, if you couldn't guess. I have no idea whether it's a musical or not, but it is a sequel.
There are definitely musical elements.
And you guys are never going to guess it unless you know.
Slumdog Millionaire 2.
Oh, Jesus.
No.
Still slumming.
It's called Bahubali 2, The Conclusion.
Man, I love it when a movie just fucking tells you.
Tells you what's happening.
They really painted themselves into a corner to expand that universe, man.
Like, no, The Conclusion.
Yeah, if they make a third one, it's going to have to be like The Re-Bahabaliing or something.
The prologue. Yeah.
Coming in at number 6 this week. A woman lands a dream job at a powerful tech company, only to uncover an agenda that will affect the lives of all of humanity. This stars Emma Watson and Tom Hanks. I had no idea this movie existed.
Oh, I remember this movie. I can't think of it.
The Net.
It's The Something.
It is.
Isn't it?
The Something, yeah. Absolutely.
The IT department.
The very, very basic, generic noun.
It's not
The
The
Firm?
Social Network.
Wait, what'd you say, Josh?
The Startup? I
No.
said The Firm, which is a John Grissom, but The Startup?
No, even more generic and basic than that. Think
The Company.
Think basic shapes.
The Circle.
The circle. Yes.
The Trapezoid.
Be Broken by Emma Watson.
Shapes the movie.
She's like, it is now complete. When I left you, I was but the learner. Now I am the master, Tom Hanks. And coming in at, wow, crazy. Coming in at number 5, A Selfish Prince is cursed to be a monster.
Oh, Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah,
starring
another Emma Watson movie. Yeah.
Cleaning up.
Yeah, she
good
is.
for her. Gave her a few years to do nothing.
Yeah,
To do humanitarian work.
Yes.
And schooling and, yeah.
Spring of 2017 was big for her. Yeah. Oh, yeah, she's awesome.
She was in her prime. We're talking Ryan Stiles, 96.
At number 4 this week, finding himself dumped after 25 years of marriage, a man who made a career of seducing rich older women must move in with his estranged sister, where he begins to learn the value of family. This stars Eugenio Derbez. Maybe it's Eugenio Derbez, Salma Hayek, Rob Lowe, Kristen Bell, Raquel Welch, Rob Corddry, and Rob Riggle. It's a comedy.
I hope.
Yeah. I've never.
Philanderer.
No, it's
Gigolo.
It's
Philandery Made Easy.
It's called How to Be a Latin Lover.
That was my next guess.
Yeah.
What a strange week for film.
Yeah. Yeah, really is. At number 3. An infant and his 7-year-old brother team up to stop a dastardly plot.
It wouldn't be the 7-year-old and his infant brother.
This has got to be a Boss Baby sequel.
No, it's not. It's the first
Secret
one.
Life of Babies? Oh, it's the first one.
It's The Boss Baby. A suit.
Jack Donaghy, the cartoon.
Yeah. This movie, that I still can't believe that movie exists, and the sequel is even crazier.
It's got Tobey Maguire as the voiceover, right?
Yeah.
It's the last thing he did before Spider-Man.
Yeah.
We can say that out loud, right?
It's
Spoiler alert.
It's like the only thing he did in between Gatsby and Homecoming, or No Way Home. Yeah.
He's an odd egg.
Yeah, he is. At number 2 this week, when a mysterious woman seduces our hero into the world of terrorism and betrayal of those closest to him, his former crew face trials that will test them as never before.
This has got to be a Fast and the Furious movie.
It is. It's the fate of the Furious. So I assume, yeah. Oh, F8, the fate of the Furious. F8, fate.
5 now, dog 5.
I love their naming convention is insane.
It is.
They like
don't give a
put a
shit.
bunch of slips of paper into a bag and just shake it and pull whatever comes out.
Yeah.
Add a number in there somewhere.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the second one was Too Fast, Too Furious. And then Tokyo Drift.
What are they going to name the 22nd one? 22 Fast, 22 Furious?
Furious 22.
Furious.
At some point, they're going to run out of energy choosing these names.
Yeah, it's just going to be the Fast and Furious 22 things I hate about you.
Fast Catch 22.
And at number 1, the Guardians struggled to keep together as a team while dealing with their personal family issues. Notably, Star-Lord's encounter with his father, the ambitious celestial being Ego. Guardians 2 at number 1 this week on the box office top 10. That does it for the top 10, which means it is time for our comic book and character background. Mr. Alaric Weber, will you please teach us as you do?
As I try. So I guess we should talk about Ego, the living planet, first and foremost. Created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, first appeared in The Mighty Thor number 132, September of 1966.
Awesome.
Kirby created Ego at a time when he was fascinated with the expanse of the universe, as he had just created Galactus. The alien Kree and the colonizers would soon follow.
It's all. I'm horny for aliens. Let's do this.
He's like, you know what kids like? Kids like planets.
That can talk.
Kirby initially imagined a living, intelligent planet as something that evolved in isolation in a denser, liquid-like part of the universe. Though, Ego would once tell Thor that he was the result of a scientist merging with a planet as its sun went nova.
In the comics, he never was like person-sized ever. He was never Kurt Russell, right? He was just a planet.
I believe so, yes.
Just
a planet.
He shows up in the Celestial Pantheon in Infinity Gauntlet, right? In the original Star Wars run?
I thought so.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Ego has appeared mostly in Thor books, as well as Fantastic Four and Silver Surfer, and others. After Thor aided Ego in fending off Galactus, Ego allowed his surface to become home to the Wanderers, a group of alien races whose homeworlds were devoured by Galactus billions of years ago.
A group of doo-wops.
Well, they do wander around.
That's actually a really interesting characterization for a planet. Like, what do you do
It is cool.
make them interesting? You make them save people after saving himself? That's cool. It's a cool arc.
I bet Galactus was like, I'm going to eat you. Like, I bet that's a particularly good get for a planet eater.
Yeah.
Probably tasty.
Right.
It makes me think of the Gaia theory that Earth is a living thing. You know,
For sure.
yeah. I'm sure that was definitely an influence because this was what, 70s, early 70s?
60s.
66 was
Okay.
when he first came out.
But yeah, that was the opening, the awakening, sort of. Summer Love was 1 year away.
It was the dawning of the age of Stanley.
Aquarius, yeah. Yeah. Have you seen pictures of Stan from that time?
Oh, yeah. He was a party man.
Yep.
The dawning of the age of Galactus.
When the moon
Every part of the living planet, including the atmosphere, is controlled by the consciousness of Ego. Also, the magnetic and radiation fields. Ego can transform the surface of the planet to appear as a giant face from space. Ego can transform the surface into a cold, dead world or a beautiful paradise at will.
Depending on how emo he's feeling.
So the character was kind of back and forth. He did this one thing, where he let the survivors of Galactus live on him, but then he would also to tempt people to coming down, that he would make himself look like a more appealing planet. Ego's consciousness resides in a brain-like organ deep below the planet's surface. Can produce humanoid antibodies to protect itself and extrude tentacles into space and produce a solid cloud shield. Ego can replenish energy by devouring planets, tapping into stars, or digesting large numbers of living beings.
Does he have a penis?
No. I don't think so.
Comics
What if he's
ruined.
got human-sized penises all over the surface?
All over the surface.
Like fields of penises?
Flowing in this cosmic
I'm
wind.
just imagining like walking through like Russell Crowe style with the penises.
Yeah, like in Gladiator. Well, they'd all be different sizes, right?
He could control them. And you could control them by touching them like Russell Crowe. It's a
That's
win-win.
true. That's when they grow. They're very small plants, then you touch them and whoop.
Ego can generate psionic energies on par with Galactus. It can project energy blasts to obliterate starships or planets nearby. Ego can read minds and communicate telepathically, and is exceptionally intelligent.
Oh, not genius level.
Not
He's a
genius
fucking
level.
planet,
Not a
but he's
genius
not
level.
as Richard.
He's not genius
Which goes to
level.
show it's not the size of your brain, it's how you use it.
Yeah.
That's right. It's all about your penis field.
Yeah, he expended way too much energy creating that field of penises.
For only him to laugh at.
He's been thinking with his dick.
His ego.
Mantis. Mantis was created by Steve Englehart and Don Heck. First appeared in The Avengers number 112, June of 1973. The character has been depicted as a member of the Avengers and the Guardians of the Galaxy, as the bride of Kang the Conqueror and the mother of the celestial messiah Sequoia.
Yeah, she's the celestial Madonna.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't know the. Cool.
I didn't realize she was married to Kang. Oh, I hope
didn't
that she
know that
meets
either.
Kang in the future. I would love
Oh,
that. They're so
yeah.
weird, both of them.
Yeah, it's just funny married. I don't know. Like obviously people pair up in comics, but just like Kang stopped to like plan a wedding.
Yeah, was that like an event comic? The wedding of Kang?
Like
They went to
Mary
Vegas.
and Peter. They went to Vegas. I bet he's a great gambler.
The
Who
character
officiates
was
that wedding? Sorry,
I
I'm
don't
just
know.
really curious about that wedding.
Another
Happens in
Kang.
movies.
All the different Kang variants are there.
Mantis in the comics was not an alien. I don't think. She was half Vietnamese, half German.
Yeah,
which
she-
explains the tentacles, the feelers. She is a master martial artist and an empath. She is capable of plant manipulation, accelerated healing, astral projection, and energy projection. The character has appeared in 4 different publishing companies when writer Steve Englehart left Marvel. I don't know when, but he continued Mantis's tale at DC, Eclipse, Image, and finally back at Marvel. Some others, real quick. Aisha, she in as titled
She
in
is the girl that I never had.
as she was called in this movie, she was the Gold Lady. First appeared in The Incredible Hulk Volume 2, Annual Number 6 in 1977, created by Len Wein, David Kraft, and Herb Trimp.
And the East Coast family.
First known as Paragon, then Her, then Aisha, then Kismet. She was a female replicant of Adam Warlock.
Yeah, the Sovereign was a race.
Well, and the name, that's one of the Prophet Muhammad's wives. That was his favorite wife. So it's an interesting choice of name for a cosmic character.
I always loved when, well, so much of comics did that. And it was so fun as a kid to go back and to go look that shit up encyclopedia style. I loved it.
Stakar of the House of Ogord.
Kiss your cat with that mouth?
In this movie was simply named Stakar Ogord. Stallone.
Yeah.
Yep.
In the comics, also known as Starhawk. First appeared in The Defenders, number 27, September of 1975. Apparently the son of the aforementioned Aisha. An anti-hero figure within the Marvelverse, more recently appeared alongside the original Guardians of the Galaxy team in a 2014 series, Guardians 3000.
He was an original...
Ravager?
I know, an original Guardians member, because the original Guardians team was not the movie lineup.
No. And was not part of the, what was it? The first Guardians came out in the late 60s, right?
Late 60s, early 70s, somewhere around there, yeah.
That.
Yeah.
He was not part of the original four, but was part of when they rebooted it with the original
the
team.
90s team.
Yeah. Before we got this team. I'll have a little bit more to say on that when we get to the end.
Okay.
A post-credits comics history.
Okay, nice.
As it were.
Nice.
And Taserface.
Yes! I was hoping you were going to do Taserface.
First appeared in Guardians of the Galaxy number 1, June of 1990, created by Jim Valentino. Most oftenly a adversary of the Guardians. Jim Valentino said that his 5-year-old son, Aaron, came up with the name. And he didn't see that the name was any worse than Pruneface, Clayface, Two-Face, or any other face-based name.
Face-based.
I just realized Ella had left this behind, but it's a little Taserface.
Oh gosh.
Wow, that's a deep cut for a little toy.
Yeah.
I know.
It just, the whole time that they're talking about him being Taserface, he was so close to being like Razorface.
Right.
Because like a taser is a non-lethal.
Face.
Yeah, like a taser is non-lethal.
And it's still
Laser-
attached to the, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a taser has to shoot those prongs out, and it's still almost like a marionette. You're still attached.
And it's so confusing because
your
it's
face does that?
Well, yeah. Is your face like what does the name mean? Like,
did you
Your
get
face is
tasered
electric?
in the face?
Yeah.
Did the name come as
Yeah.
a result of your horrible disfigurement, or do
Like
you
if his
shoot
face
tasers?
touches yours, you're electrocuted.
yeah,
He does have
But you
metal
have
teeth.
to gently cheek to cheek.
yeah. So many questions. Anyways, Al, you're muted.
That's all I got until later.
Until-
Unless
you'll-
something I missed.
You're gonna get to the Ogord cameos, right?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
The only question that I have is Aletta and Stakar. They both share the surname Ogord. Are they married?
No, I think they were brother and sister.
Okay, that was my other question. Because just Michelle Yeoh and Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah. Yeah. So, all right. That is our comic background. Thanks, Al. Which brings us to production and reviews.
Gotta start somewhere.
Production. The production background. It was written and directed by James Gunn, much like the first one. So not much new to cover there. We've gone through his filmography a couple times. Our stars returning. We've got Chris Pratt as Peter Quill, Zoe Saldana as Gamora, Dave Bautista as Drax, Vin Diesel as Baby Groot this time. I would point out that James Gunn makes pains to point out that Baby Groot is in fact a different character than the first movie's Groot. He is not the same being according to James Gunn. Bradley Cooper is back as Rocket. Michael Rooker is back as Yondu. Karen Gillan is back as Nebula. Joining that cast, we've got Pom Klementieff as Mantis. Pom Klementieff, which, by the way, I love her performance in this. She's doing like a thing.
Yeah, she's a breath of fresh air in this movie at many points.
God, yeah, absolutely. She, let's see, she got her start. She had a few indie movies in the late 2000s. Her big breakout role was in Old Boy, the Spike Lee version of Old Boy. She, let's see, since then she was in Uncut Gems. Of course, she's, we'll see her in Guardians 3 and the Infinity War Endgame movies. She had a cameo in the Suicide Squad. She's in the 2 upcoming Mission Impossible movies, Mission Impossible 7 and Mission Impossible 8, which Mission Impossible 7, I'm just finding this out, is currently in post-production, and Mission Impossible 8 is currently filming.
Wow.
Yeah. So, wow. That's a series that would be interesting to do. She did some...
Well, I'm sorry. Yeah. There's a Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special.
Yeah, that's coming out. It's going to be on Disney Plus. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Fun.
Yeah. James Gunn said it was inspired by the Star Wars holiday special.
Oh, naturally. But a lot of shows have, like He-Man had one. But anyways.
Yeah, but I mean, so it's a movie series. But he said it's going to pay homage to the Star Wars holiday special, so that'll be interesting to see.
I love it. Yeah.
She was also.
Oh, do you think we'll get like Drax singing holiday songs?
Yeah, I mean, maybe.
I hope that we get his family.
Oh, but they're all dead.
Maybe memories of his family.
Misty
I assume that
Watercolor.
Chewbacca's whole family was all dead too. But
good point. Pom Klementieff also had a run on Westworld for a while. We've got Elizabeth Debicki as Aisha. She's 6'3", by the way.
Wow.
God. Yeah, and you can tell.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did you guys see Inception?
Yes. Yeah. She's
because she plays a timid woman in that at 6'3", and the whole time I'm like, you seem scared, but also you seem dangerous.
Yeah, and I just kept wondering how many apple boxes was Kenneth Branagh standing on?
Because Branagh is like 5'8", right?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. So obviously, she's probably best known for Tenet and The Great Gatsby. She played Jordan in The Great Gatsby. She was in let's see, the 2015 Macbeth. The
Fassbender?
Yeah, the Fassbender Macbeth.
God. Who did she play in Macbeth?
She was Lady Macduff.
God, she had to tower over everything.
Yeah.
Lady McCheese.
She was in The Man from U.N.C.L.E. with Superman. She was in Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets, a movie I would love to cover on this someday.
That movie's bonkers.
Yeah.
I love it. It's so bad.
God, yes. The Cloverfield Paradox. She played Mopsy in the Peter Rabbit movies. And she will be in Guardians 3. Yeah. Chris Sullivan as Taserface. I didn't realize he was the guy that got killed, the nice restaurant dude that got killed in the first episode of Stranger Things. Yeah. He's on that terrible show. What is it? This Is Us. That a show that my wife, I watched the first few seasons with her, and then I had to tap out because, oh my God, it's awful.
There's a photo of him at the Emmys in a top hat and tails with a cane. He's a real weird dude.
Yeah, no, he's kind of cool. I kind of dig him, but yeah, I had to tap out of This Is Us, and my wife continues to watch it, but she's hate watching it at this point.
Sometimes that's the best way to watch it.
All the women in my family love it. I haven't seen it.
Oh God, it's terrible. It's fucking terrible. The first season was like, all right. By the second season, I'm like, this is the worst thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, if I want to watch dysfunctional families, I'll just remember my past.
That's enough childhood for me, thank you.
Yeah, give me superheroes, please. I'm raw dogging reality all the time.
Yeah. So yeah, anyways, Chris Sullivan, he did a lot of indie film work. Nothing, this is probably the biggest movie he was ever in. TV he was much more successful in. He did a lot of like the kind of Law and Order type single episode work. Law and Order Elementary. He was in an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm. Huh.
Wait, Law and Order Elementary?
Everyone's
Law and Order and Elementary.
Oh, I was going to say, I was like, these are the crimes that were committed by small children?
Yeah, crayon thieves and such.
I would actually watch that show.
Yeah.
I would too.
I found another photo of him from the Critics' Choice Awards where he's wearing this glorious jacket with fish skeletons all over it.
Wow.
That's a hell of a blazer.
Yeah.
Game recognized game.
Yeah.
Let's see. He did voice Taserface in in a What If episode too. I'm glad they got him back.
Well, most of those characters in the What If were the actual actors that played them, with the exception of Batista.
Yeah,
they didn't get ScarJo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But they've been doing a good job of getting as many.
Yeah. Sean Gunn was back as Kraglin. Sylvester Stallone played Stakar. Have we never talked about Stallone on this? I'm trying to think, and I don't feel like Stallone's ever shown up in anything we've done before.
I'm pretty sure this is his first superhero movie.
But like even on the Patreon, I don't think we've done a movie with him.
No, we did. With Wesley Snipes.
Oh, Judge Dredd.
Demolition Man.
Demolition Man, not Judge Dredd. Yeah, the other Sylvester Stallone in the future movie.
Which we will do Judge Dredd at some point, right?
I mean, we kind of maybe should have done it in this run, shouldn't we have? I mean, it is a comic book.
I think so.
It's up there with the Tank Girl controversy.
We'll stick Judge Dredd in with Tank Girl and Flash Gordon for the end of the show for the ones we missed. But Sly Stallone, we haven't talked about him on the main feed, so he's Sylvester Stallone. I don't feel like I need to go too far into him. His first role was in a porno.
What?
Yeah,
the Italian Stallion.
Yeah.
That's where that name came from.
Well, no, I'm sure it existed before, but yeah.
Well, that was
the name of his porn.
That was his. Yeah, that was his big, like starring role breakout. But he was also, he was in MASH, the movie MASH. Let's see, he was in the Woody Allen movie Bananas. He was in a bunch of Woody Allen movies actually. As an extra. He was in What's Up, Doc? Capone, Death Race 2000, Mandingo, all of that prior to his big breakout, for which he got nominated for an Oscar, Rocky. And then,
which he wrote and chopped around himself.
Yeah.
Wow.
It wasn't like a studio deal. He had to, pardon the pun, fight to get Rocky made.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially because he didn't win. That was a kind of a revolutionary move. They're like, what?
Yeah.
Because Hollywood loved making boxing and fight movies. And yeah, they're like, he doesn't win?
Oh my God.
Get the woman?
I just realized we got Tango and Cash in this movie.
Holy shit, we did.
Yeah.
Wow, I hadn't thought about that, but yeah, I mean, just Slice alone, Rocky, Rambo, Judge,
Jeff Winger,
yeah,
Tango and Sundance.
So yeah, let's see, Spy Kids 3D. I did the Expendables. He's Sylvester.
Wait, he was in
Stallone.
Spy Kids with Kurt Russell?
Spy Kids 3D, not the first two.
But was Kurt Russell in that with him?
I assume so. I haven't seen Spy Kids 3. I don't know. I assume so.
I just assume you've seen them all because you have children.
Was Kurt Russell in Spy Kids?
I didn't remember him.
Antonio
so.
Banderas was.
Yeah.
Was Kurt?
Maybe I'm thinking of Sky
Oh,
High.
you're no. Yeah, you're thinking of Sky High. What? Yeah, Sky High. That was. Yeah. So that's.
Well, the answer is only yes, because obviously Hollywood is about 120 people.
Yeah.
If they work together, yeah, probably.
Probably.
There's only that many people.
Yeah. Kurt Russell. Is this our first? I know we've talked about him on the. Oh, we talked about him in The Thing.
The Thing. Yeah.
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 Andrea says Kurt Russell was not in the Spy Kids movies. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, Kurt Russell we've talked about before. On the main feed. Let's see. We had Laura Haddock back as Meredith Quill. Seth Green voicing Howard the Duck. And yeah, that rounds out our the most important of the cast.
Steve Agee
as Jeff.
Yeah.
Yeah, as he's of course
Economist.
Yeah, Economist.
And Diebeard.
Peacemaker, yeah.
And a stand-up, a funny stand-up.
Yeah.
Brian Posehn's best friends. Just imagine running into those.
Oh my God. Yeah, so that's right, they were. Oh my God. This movie has 85% on Rotten Tomatoes. That rounds it out. Guys, are you ready to jump into the movie? No one said it. No one says it's showtime, a-holes. All right, here we go. This is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. We open in Missouri on Earth in 1980. That's a good one. Oh, yeah, that's something I didn't even really talk about, the soundtrack. I just want to briefly run through some of the needle drops. I kind of think this one's better than Volume 1, the soundtrack, specifically. Is it supposed to be better? I don't know. Brian may not agree. They are. Yeah. So Volume 1 feels a little bit it feels like it's a little too like Tarantino in the 90s. Like if I feel like I've heard it all on a soundtrack before. Volume 2 I get less of that. Especially because like hooked on a Feeling I associate very, very much with
I mean this has Hooked on a Feeling
with Tarantino.
This has
father and son
right in the beginning. Yeah,
like this has some pretty common use stuff. You know, Yusuf Islam is not a B-side to anything ever.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we've got ELO on here. Fox on the Run's a great song that you don't ever really hear.
That was the first one, wasn't it?
That was Fox on the Run. No, Mr. Blue Sky was first. Fox on the Run was the second one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's just taking the Dazed and Confused, and just adding a little more to it. And there were 2 volumes of that soundtrack.
Yeah, exactly. That Sam, Bring It On Home to Me, that Sam Cooke song, Southern Nights. I mean, My Sweet Lord, of course. Wham Bam Shang-a-Lang by Silver. That is a great song. We got Surrender. That Cat Stevens Needle Drop was pretty good. The Chain. I mean,
oh, dude,
which is probably my favorite Fleetwood Mac song.
When they're all walking in slow motion.
And then when he's kicking ass.
Yeah, and the moment that the song picks up is when he starts to fly. Yeah, there are some really well executed, choreographed moments with the music in this.
Well, he's known for it, or he's gotten more known for it with each production that he's done. But like, look at Peacemaker. I forgot about so many of those hair bands.
God, yeah.
Like, I forgot about so many. I can't rocks and shit.
And he uses songs that came out in the last 5 years from these washed up hair metal bands.
I know.
That is weird. He's singing about Xbox and shit.
Oh, imagine the downloads these, like Tiger Eyes or Tiger Beats or something.
Yeah. So, all right. Anyway, so all right, into the movie itself. We technically are, aren't we? So Peter's parents, they're driving out behind the local Dairy Queen to the tune of brandy. His dad shows his mom some space spores he's planted. I think I like to think of it as a tasty freeze where they may or may not be sucking on chili dog. That Dairy Queen looks exactly like the Dairy Queen that still stands in South Milwaukee where I lived.
Right up against the forest on like a freeway overpass kind of thing.
It's got the woods right behind it, exactly like that. It's got the same barn shape to it. Like, it looks exactly like that. Moon says it hasn't changed since she was a child in the early 80s.
Man.
Yeah, because for what reason?
Yeah. So let's see. We cut to 34 years later. We're on the sovereign. I can't say that word.
Wait, so that makes Peter Quill 34 years old in this movie?
33. It takes place in
33.
It takes place in 2014.
Weird.
Yeah.
That's how old I am. That's just weird watching a movie and thinking like, oh shit.
Yeah.
I got to get to space, man.
Yeah. Well, you should have been you should have been kidnapped like 24 years ago.
Fair.
Should have been
opportunity.
Yeah.
Probably would have been better for all of us.
Yeah.
Jesus.
The Guardians have been hired to protect some valuable batteries, Annulax batteries.
Arbulary batteries.
Arbulary.
From a tentacle monster. They fight and defeat it while Baby Groot dances to ELO, and that is our credit sequence.
This is so well done.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh man, you're hooked right away.
Just freeze frames, humor.
Adorable. Everybody's a little funnier.
Yeah.
They're all taking care of Drax at
the Groot
different
cam.
moments.
Yeah.
They're all taking care of Groot.
Groot. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's
and Drax. But.
Yeah, and I mean it's instantly iconic. Baby Groot dancing. It's
Rocket's hooking up the stereo. Like, everybody's preparing to battle this thing, and you kind of think that's what's happening, but he's just putting the stereo.
Well, and it's a great way to have a credit sequence too, because for once I don't mind a credit sequence.
Yeah. Well, and it establishes their roles as parents over this little baby.
Yeah, so bringing that up, I realized in this watch through that every single relationship between main and secondary cast members, once you start getting down into like third level cast members, it doesn't hold true, but every relationship between main and secondary cast members of this movie is either a metaphorical father-son relationship, or a literal father-son relationship, or a metaphorical sibling relationship. Like, every single one.
Well, and that's the central theme to both of them, right? Like, the Motley Crue makes a family.
Yeah.
Like your family is who you choose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like Drax was hella serious in the first one, save for a couple little ironic moments, like taking everything literally. Now he's funny.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not intentionally funny, sometimes intentionally funny, but yeah.
He's
Everyone's
joyful.
Yeah.
joyful.
Yeah.
I think his guard
Mora's
is
relaxed a
completely
little.
down.
Yeah.
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 He's just being himself a lot more than he was in the first one.
And then Quill and Rocket, they're still sort of this pirate type vibe. They're good guys, don't get them wrong, but they have that sort of opportunistic pirate kind of thing that's fun.
Well,
they remind me of twin brothers vying for the older position.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, no. There's very much a sibling relationship between Rocket and Quill, which mirrors the sibling relationship between Gamora and Nebula. Yeah, very much so. And then there's the layers of father relationships. So you've got like Sylvester Stallone and Michael Rooker, Yondu and what's his face?
And Yondu and Quill.
Yondu and Quill. And
Yondu and Rocket.
Yondu and Yondu and Rocket a little bit there. Then you've got the Quill and Ego, of course. Then you've got Quill, and by the end, Quill and Groot have a father-son relationship. So just the levels of father-son relationships happening in this movie.
Drax and Mantis also.
Yeah, Drax and Mantis.
You don't see it happening until it happens when he tells her explicitly, "You remind me of my daughter."
You can use the word father, or you could use the word guardian. Ego made Quill, but Yondu was his guardian.
Yeah.
Guarded him for 34 years.
Yeah.
It's right there in front of us.
I don't know. But
I don't know how I missed that.
That's the different relationships. Like, that's the dude that made me, but that's the dude who protected me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like Yondu said, he may be your father, but he ain't your daddy.
He ain't your daddy.
Yeah.
I love Michael Rooker so much.
Oh God, yeah. He's great.
Mental moments funny.
All of my father figures have threatened to eat me at some point in my life.
Well, Same. Yeah. I mean, if they don't, what's even the point?
Right. It's evolution, man. Look it up.
So Aisha, the leader of the Sovereign, rewards the Guardians with Nebula as a prisoner. They caught her trying to steal the batteries. Gamora plans on handing her over to the authorities on Xandar for a bounty. Aisha and Peter flirt, and we learned that Rocket stole some of the batteries himself.
I love it. He can't help but steal. He has no reason.
Right, and and you get.
I love it.
You see him stealing the batteries too as they're leaving the platform, like it's happening off to the side.
Right. He's like, "Oh, she's gonna cop an attitude. All right then."
Yeah.
We should mention James Gunn did the mocap for the dancing Groot at the very beginning.
Yeah, I did.
That's him dancing like an idiot. It's pretty fun to see James Gunn do it and then watch Groot do it afterwards.
It's such a fun and sweet song, too.
It is. Mr. Blue Sky is like an all-time great song.
I think it's about him having his kid, but Jeff Lynne. I mean,
well, and he said he was basically trying to write a sequel to Good Day Sunshine. I mean, ELO clearly is very Beatles inspired, but you can really hear that.
They're both Wilburys.
Yeah.
Jeff Lynne and George Harrison.
Yeah. But I just have to say the production on that whole ELO album, I can't remember which one it is, but and that song in particular is insanely off the hook good production. That clean,
everything's so crunchy. Yeah.
That like
he's an incredible producer.
That 70s like ELO prog rock production sound is just insane.
I love it.
So
I had the radio playing at school during one of my classes, for like kind of like a study hall, but "Livin' Thing" by ELO came up, and one of the kids like had to ask. I was like, what's the name of this song?
Yeah.
So I had to write it on the board.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Don't let me down. Education. Don't bring me down.
Yeah.
Killer.
So, all right. The Guardians leave the Sovereign. Peter and Gamora fail to flirt. He tries. Drax tells Peter to forget about her. Says people.
She's not the one for you, Peter.
Yeah, it does the dancing thing, or talks about the dancing. Dancing is a recurring theme throughout this.
There are two types of people: those who dance and those who don't.
Yeah, my wife would stand so still. I thought she was dead.
It made my nether regions engorge.
Yeah,
I love drag. Yeah.
They're quickly attacked by the Sovereign with a fleet of drones due to the stealing of the batteries that gets discovered.
And I love that they're so uptight they don't even like fight themselves. Yeah. You know what I mean?
They send
don't
the drone.
get dirty at all.
Yeah, the Sovereign are like perfectly cloned and grown in pods. They're a race of golden gods.
Yeah, it's really weird to suss that out because they're perfect, yet they don't mate. Well, then why are they so intent on preserving every life, yet they don't care about each other? It says a lot about that like superficial nature of people.
Your name is Aisha? I could have sworn it was Best Supporting Actress.
Yeah,
they look like I don't know. It's not sexy at all.
No, I loved the infighting with them. Well, like the last guy when he gets shot, and they're like, oh, typical.
You suck, Xylac.
Yeah, they're almost about to be destroyed when a mysterious figure riding a spaceship like a sandworm shows up and destroys the drones.
The tiny 1-inch man.
Yes.
It's like, I imagine he's bigger closer up. But...
The Guardians escape through a quantum asteroid field. The quantum asteroid field was cool. That's a cool idea.
Yeah. Well, and it shows Rocket and Quill vying for the captain's position, which we see continue after this movie also.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. And I love how weird James Gunn's space is. Like, I know it's drawn from Marvel Comics, but things like the quantum asteroid field, like it's a weird, lived-in, grungy, funky, like universe, and I love it. It's so much more. So much weirder than Thor's universe, at least that we've seen so far. We haven't gotten to Ragnarok.
Well, and they have
like nowhere.
They have to get to a jump point. Like the ship does not just automatically create one in front of them. I love that. Yeah. It's like, well, we got another 15 miles before we get to that off ramp. You can't just go off roading.
Yeah. It's really lived in like throughout.
Yeah. Yeah. The infrastructure exists regardless of what we know about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So, all right. They escape through the quantum asteroid field and do a hyperspace jump. The Milano is badly damaged and they crash land on a planet.
Drax, we forgot to mention Drax is already out the back of the ship shooting a gun.
Yes.
So that when they crash land on the planet, we get the toughness test. He is Incredible Hulk tough.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he hits everything on the way down. And Gamora is holding on to him and the ship. She is the rope connecting to him.
They are an incredibly strong, powerful group of individuals. They are 100% super powered.
Well, and it's important to establish that, I think, in this movie, because they didn't face a supernatural threat the same way in the first movie that they do in this movie. You know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Then the man on the ship shows up along with an alien named Mantis. He reveals himself to be Peter's father, Ego. So it's been pointed out before. I'd like to point out again, Kurt Russell is perfect casting for Star-Lord's dad in this, because Star-Lord is basically playing Kurt Russell in Big Trouble in Little China.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically the character he's doing.
Well, and what's it? Starman?
Oh, that was Jeff Bridges.
Oh, sorry, Jeff Bridges. You're right. Yeah.
But yeah, a little bit of Snake Plissken in Escape from LA. Not so much New York, but but very much Big Trouble in Little China. Like, and what's the not the thing? What's the John Carpenter one we did? They Live.
Oh yeah.
very much him and They Live.
Wait.
Or Roddy Piper, like that
Yeah, I
kind
was
of
just saying-
character.
Yeah,
Kurt
Jeff
Russell
Bridges-
wasn't in there.
Kurt Russell's not in there.
But yeah, it's
But
that.
it's
that
the
kind of,
unlikely leading man, which
Yeah,
Kurt
but, like-
Russell always was. Like, is he
yeah.
tough? He has been.
But like, especially Big Trouble in Little China, like he thinks the movie's about him. He thinks he's the hero, when in actuality, he's just kind of along for the ride. Everyone else is way more capable than he is. So, all right. We cut to Contraxia, where Yondu and the Ravagers are partying. Yondu finishes up with some robot whores.
That all look the same.
Yeah.
What on earth is the point of that?
I
Mind. We can keep going, but I mean, if it's going to be a totally like manufactured situation,
Yeah, I imagine you'd want some variety to your robot.
you imagine, yeah, it's sort of a cornerstone to our species' survival.
Anyways, but Yondu isn't our species.
Fair enough.
Yeah. But anyways, Yondu approaches another Ravager captain, Stakar Ogord, who tells him he's broken the Ravager code by trafficking children, and he's not welcome in the wider Ravager community. He's not an ally. Yondu's crew think Yondu's getting soft. Yondu is approached by the Sovereign and offered a bounty to catch the Guardians. I would argue that even given his sacrifice at the end of this film, Yondu doesn't really earn his way back into the Ravager community, given how many children he led to their deaths.
Well, I think it's the context of what he did, because once he realized what was happening with the children, he was returning children to their father.
Yeah,
as far as he knew, and once he realized that he was consuming them or killing them, then he changed his ways. He was just a bus driver getting kids back home in his mind.
Right. Ego contracted him to, pick those kids up.
It was not like he was getting them for the Jedi, who were basically stealing children from their families.
So these were being eaten, but similar.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. So Peter's dad, Ego, reveals that he hired Yondu to deliver Peter to him when Peter's mother died, but Yondu kept Peter for himself. Ego invites Quill, Gamora, and Drax to his home planet. Peter is initially reluctant to go, but Gamora convinces him, telling him that if he's evil, they'll just kill him, which I would point out is exactly what happens.
I love that they say it out loud.
Mm-hmm.
There's no pussyfooting around the idea that we are pretty powerful ourselves. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Yeah, he just lays out what happens in one sentence right there.
Which is very Snake Plissken.
Yeah.
Like just the practicality of murder. Don't worry. We always have that trick up our sleeve.
Yeah, we do.
It's not like he's a planet or anything.
But they keep that attitude. They're even in the Infinity War, they're just like, let's go get him. Yeah, we know who Thanos is. Fuck him.
Yeah. Why are you guys so scared?
Yeah, it's Thanos. We're just gonna go fight him right now.
He's a dude. He can be killed.
He's a big grimacy dude.
So Drax and Mantis get to know each other a little bit. Rocket, Groot, and Nebula stay behind to repair the ship. Drax and Mantis's relationship is one of my favorites in all of the MCU.
Well,
it's
you have
amazing. It is probably the best part of this movie.
Yeah.
Well, and they're the two most misunderstood characters.
They're diametrically they're polar opposites. You have a literal, he has emotion, but they're so very literal and matter of factly. And then you have an empath.
Yeah.
Drax will say anything, no matter how insulting, because he doesn't think of things that way.
Yeah.
She's literally an empath.
And in this movie, she has no socialization. She has been raised on Ego her entire life and not known any outside interaction.
Yeah.
And of people to teach her how to be social is Drax.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. I was going to say she looks to Drax to teach her to teach her social cues, and he is the single worst person who could possibly teach her social cues.
So she's She's smiling at him. She's, what are you doing? He's like, I am smiling. I am told that it makes people like you. Not when you do it like that.
Not. You're hideous.
And I mean, it's interesting because Quill, Gamora, Rocket, and Groot, none of them have the time of day for Mantis. None of them care. They don't give her a second thought. But Drax is curious, you know?
Yeah. So, all right. Let's see. On the journey to the planet, they get to know her. She does the reveal that Peter's in love with Gamora. We see her.
Another hilarious moment when she touches Drax and the sheer joy. It's like, I've never felt such humor. And they're both laughing and pointing at Quill.
Well,
so good.
And Gamora is so closed off that she does not want anyone to know about her feelings.
Yeah.
I have a feeling she was punished a lot for showing any emotion.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I have a feeling she was punished a lot for everything. I mean,
for everything.
Fucking Thanos.
But he favored her in some ways. But yeah. Just that full-on art of war. Like, don't fucking just stab.
Mm-hmm.
No feeling.
Yeah. Let's see. Back with the broken ship, Rocket's ambushed by Yondu and his Ravagers. Rocket takes most of them out. He's finally captured by Yondu, but when Yondu reveals that he isn't going to turn Peter over to the Sovereign, Kraglin, his first mate, Sean Gunn, questions his objectivity, and the crew mutinies, led by Taserface.
Well, and Rocket laid a trap for them.
Mm-hmm.
Which is really, it shows how intelligent Rocket is. He knew that someone would come looking. He puts his radio in the ship and is not there to be found. It's really clever.
When all of the Ravagers were being gravitationally propelled
anti-gravity,
the anti-gravity thing, there's the faraway shot of them, of their bodies just
Southern
jumping above the tree line. I thought I was watching a Pixar movie for a second.
Well, very Looney. I was going to say very Looney Tunes.
There you go.
Yeah, and matched with that song so perfectly. You know.
Yeah.
What song was it at this time?
Southern Nights, which makes you think of being around a bonfire or by the river or some kind of Southern. Dun, dun, dun.
So what's interesting? So with the first Guardians movie, they made a ton of Rocket merchandise because they were expecting Rocket to be like the kids breakout, like we love Rocket. But
just Bradley Cooper dolls.
Yeah, he's such a miserable, like awful, he's such an unlikable person as far as his personality goes. Like he's miserable. This is a depressed, miserable person.
He's a professional asshole.
Yeah.
As we see later on, especially with him palling around with Thor, he has a very precise moral compass. He just doesn't feel compelled to share that with everybody all the time.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
When he gives Lebowski Thor the pep talk on Asgard, it's just fucking, like, I do have stuff to lose. What are you talking about? You have nothing left to lose.
Absolutely.
Idiot.
Well, and that's beneath all of that. That's why he's with Groot, not just because Groot is tall and convenient. Groot needs some protection.
He's his dad.
Yeah.
The first time we see them, he's trying to get Groot to not drink fountain water.
Yeah,
because it's recycled and gross.
Yeah,
just like a kid.
Yeah, and
you're busy, and then you turn around and your kid's drinking from the fountain.
In this one, at the beginning, Groot eats a bug and he makes him spit it out. Yeah,
I love it.
So, all right. Nebula gets freed by baby Groot. She tricks Groot into freeing her, and she helps the crew defeat Yondu by destroying his head fin, which controls his magic arrow.
Apologies, since you mentioned Groot at the beginning. When we first see him, and he runs out and he punches those little creatures.
Yeah.
And Rocker's like, it's like, no, they weren't looking at you funny.
And he's on.
Yeah, Groot has a chip on his shoulder. At least this Groot does.
Oh yeah.
Nebula lies to baby Groot. This is the only time she's ever able to successfully lie in this entire movie.
Well, and I don't know. I don't know if it's a rule of three, but it's a running gag that she's hungry and she keeps getting the unripe,
That's right. It's not ripe.
Yarrow or turnip or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, because Gamora tells her, Drax tells her, and then she, at this point,
bites it like a badass, and then is like,
yeah,
it's not
right. And in classic James Gunn style, he beats the joke to death.
That's what I meant. Yeah.
One of the other guys is trying to eat it, and she tells them, "Oh, it's not ripe. You don't want to eat that."
Yeah.
Great. We got a running gag.
So meanwhile, the others arrive on Ego's planet. He's the only resident. He reveals he's a celestial. He tired of his life of loneliness and went searching for companionship across the universe. He visited many planets, including Earth, where he fell in love with Peter's mom.
So, I wonder if it's been thought out, but like, do you think he's a celestial that, was seeded onto a planet but just didn't do the emergence? Instead bonded with the planet, you know what I mean? Celestials have to emerge. At least that's what the MCU has told us now.
Well, he says he created the planet around him. So
So he's like Airshime. He doesn't need to be, I guess.
I have a big question about Eternals and all of that with relation to Ego and his plans for Earth.
Yeah, me too. So maybe I'm getting ahead of my stuff.
My quick and dirty headcanon on this is that he just was never injected into a planet. He is the seed itself.
He formed,
and he created a planet as a result of floating through space for an eternity.
Oh, right. And then he spreads his, okay.
What would have happened if he had become, made Earth him? Like, what would have happened? Or any of these other planets, because there's celestials in multiple planets. Spoilers, everybody, for Eternals.
Yeah. I assume that he would have become immensely more powerful than a celestial on its own.
But I mean, so I'm like the Celestials gestating inside the planets probably would have just been destroyed by him, I guess. I mean, would that have caused him issues becoming those planets? Would he not have?
That's kind of what I was wondering. Yeah,
I assume that he would have absorbed their cosmic energy in some way.
Well, that's why. Yeah, they emerge. They emerge once the planet has enough energy that it's producing enough. Yeah, when we get to that movie, I have a lot of theories. I think that movie explains how Thanos was actually a good guy.
Yeah.
He was preventing emergences on planets because he knew the planet and all life on it would be totally destroyed. So you cut the population in half and there's not enough energy to emerge.
We'll get there when we get to the Eternals, but Chloe Zhao explicitly said that she had a story that involved Thanos being the good guy.
Yeah, Star Fox is at the end, and he is an Eternal, and so I think that he knew about the emergence and told his brother Thanos.
Well, in classic Marvel form, they're going to go back and use all of the existing universe to develop a future story.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah,
because it's not quite the...
But let's not forget that Thanos could have snapped only Celestials out of existence had he chosen to.
Yeah, let's put good guy in quotes, but you know what I'm trying to say. I'm not defending Thanos all the time. Like, you know what? Dracula is actually a nice guy. I don't give a fuck what you...
He does ask to come in.
I mean,
he does.
Yeah, he does.
I'm not making the case that he's the hero. I'm just saying.
Have you guys seen that tweet where it was like, as the knock at the door, and it's like, hello, we're vampires. We'd like to talk to you about our Lord and Savior Dracula. And we're like, vampires? I thought you just bit people. No. We'd like to discuss our literature with you. Can we come in?
Yep, exactly.
Anyway,
I've been bitten by a Mormon.
Let's see. On the Ravager's ship, the mutineers are executing the crew that were loyal to Yondu. They imprison Yondu with Rocket while letting baby Groot roam freely as they adopt him as a mascot, even though they're not nice to him. Nebula gets a ship with the coordinates of Ego's planet and sets off after them to go kill Gamora.
And they make Groot wear a little outfit, a little jumpsuit, a Ravager one, which, they think makes him more adorable, but he hates. He's a tree. Yeah. He doesn't want to wear a fucking jumpsuit. I love it.
He acts the same way as when we try to put clothing on our dogs. Like,
Yes,
why
exactly.
are you doing this?
Or a kid, even.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, we're gonna dress you up. Fuck you.
The hat comment kind of shows why, because he's
That's
confused.
hilarious.
Your silhouette changes, and I don't know who you are anymore.
He's all, wait, that's why you don't like hats?
You think his head looks weird, but then it turns out it's just a hat.
Wait. And the eye. I love the running joke that the funniest thing in the world to Rocket is stealing somebody's appendage that they might need.
Well, and he collects, and he likes to collect them, and later on the thing with the arm and Bucky, and
all of it. Ooh, I'm gonna get that arm.
So meanwhile, Ego and Peter do some father-son bonding. Ego teaches Peter to use his celestial powers, and they play catch. Ego tells Peter he's immortal like him.
They literally play
so much weird shit with this.
Yeah. Yes. Drax and Mantis bond some more. Mantis tells him and Gamora that she was found by Ego when she was a baby in her larval state, she says. Also, she has some sort of secret she's keeping from them. Back with the Ravagers, Rocket and Yondu get to know each other, and they decide to team up and escape. They get Groot to try and steal Yondu's backup Finn when the crew falls asleep, but he has trouble understanding. He's finally helped by Kraglin, although they said about killing the entire crew and destroying the ship before escaping in a smaller ship. Before he dies, though, Taserface contacts the Sovereign, sending them the coordinates for Yondu's ship. Rocket sets course for Ego's planet. They have to make over 700 hyperspace jumps. In one of these jumps,
was fun.
We get the Stan Lee cameo.
The 700 hyperspace jumps is not good for a human body. He says that explicitly.
Mm-hmm.
Neither Rocket nor Groot nor Yondu are human. He cares about Kraglin.
Yeah.
Which I thought was a really interesting subtext to that whole thing, where he's like, they can handle it, but Kraglin?
Wait. No, he said mammalian.
I thought he said human.
He said mammalian.
Okay.
The subtitles. I distinctly remember thinking mammalian and thinking, is he? They're all mammalian. They all like. I guess Yondu's not reptilian.
I don't know. Who knows?
He's warm-blooded.
Yeah.
You could probably milk him.
Check it and see. Milk him.
But we get Watchers. Stanley and the Watchers.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Very big-headed, classic Watchers.
And multiple Watchers, not just one.
No, there are multiple though.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a group of Watchers. I cannot wait to see if our What If Watcher, what's his face?
Jeffrey Wright.
Jeffrey Wright. It shows up in live action.
Uatu. I think there's a D in there.
I'm keeping my fingers crossed for Multiverse of Madness, Jeffrey Wright.
Yeah.
So, let's see. Back on Ego, Peter and Gamora dance to Sam Cooke. Oh, I forgot to mention. So, according to what Stan Lee's saying, like that makes him the same character in every Marvel movie.
Mm-hmm. James Gunn loves fucking up canon. That is his favorite thing to do.
Yeah, he does.
Besides needle drops and family stories.
At least on IMDb, Stanley's credit, the character credit was Watcher Informant.
It's cute.
He's a CI.
So anyways, Peter and Gamora dance to Sam Cooke. Peter tries to romance her, but it turns into an argument because Gamora doesn't trust Ego due to Mantis's hiding something. She goes off to be alone. She gets attacked by Nebula in a ship. They fall into a cave in the battle. Gamora ends up winning, and they argue about their childhood as sisters with Thanos. This is our Bechdel test passing scene.
Yeah. And strongly too, because they are talking about each other and their relationship with each other. They're not just like, "Hey, you drink that coffee too? I really like coffee. Good to see you later, lady character."
I don't think he's ever had a problem with that. Even going back to like Slither and his early stuff, like he's always been about representation but low key at the same time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a lot of movies, especially now, that really hit you over the head with it. But yeah, he knows how to write female characters, and he always has.
Yeah. Andrea wanted to point out the importance of the scene between Yondu and Rocket. As someone who worked with at-risk kids. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So when they were discussing
how he hides his emotions behind this armor of assholeness.
Because of how he was treated.
Because nobody cared about him. So that's how he has to protect himself.
The abuse and neglect.
I know everything about you because I am you.
Yeah.
I was you.
Yeah, and Rocket has a creator because he's referred to him, but obviously he must have been a monster,
Yeah.
So again, you have another fatherless figure.
Well, and Yondu was sold off to be a slave.
Yep.
To fight in the Kree Wars.
Yeah. They have reasons for their rough exteriors, which we all do, but you know what I mean, storytelling wise.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see. Ego reveals to Quill that in his travels he planted seedlings on thousands of worlds. He's going to terraform them into new extensions of himself.
Which I'm sorry to interrupt. Just to add to that point, it kind of speaks to how Yondu did take care of Quill. Because even though Quill also had a dysfunctional life in a similar way, he is very lighthearted and funny and zipping around the galaxy, getting laid, and he's not all rough and gruff because Yondu guarded him and took care of him.
Well, and what was Quill's last words to Rocket before they parted ways? When they went to go visit Ego's planet, it was like, "Are you trying to make everybody not like you because you're doing a great job at it?"
Yeah,
you just feel for Rocket so hardcore.
And Quill's not good at what Yondu did, which he needs the salty, bad medicine kind of thing.
They're all socially stunted, all of them, and that just Drax and Mantis are more obvious, but they're all weirdos. Like Quill would not really be a good friend.
They are.
He's a fun guy.
They are all damaged, and they are all just trying to deal with their trauma.
Arrested Development, yeah.
So all right, he says only the power of two Celestials can activate his plan.
When a Celestial loves another Celestial very much.
He impregnated countless women and hired Yondu to collect the children, but he killed them or they all died in his attempt to use them to access the celestial power.
Or he ate them.
Yeah, or he ate them.
Well, he said they all died painlessly. They didn't feel anything.
Yeah, that's what he says.
Yeah, but there's
them. Yeah.
No, I think Hitler said the same thing.
Yeah.
Or Goebbels, at least.
Yeah. I have to credit James Gunn with not using a few real obvious needle drops. There was no cats in the cradle. There's no Papa was a Rolling Stone.
Yeah. That's hilarious because he's a planet.
Yeah, he's a planet, and
he's a Rolling Stone.
And he went planet to planet impregnating women. Like that song fits him.
No, but a stone.
And when he died. Yeah.
So all right. So at first, under Ego's hypnotism influence, Quill's all down with his plan, but he fights back when Ego reveals that he gave his mom the tumor that killed her due to the distraction she posed to him.
Before Peter awakens from his, I don't know what you call it, hypnotized state or whatever, he says
trance.
Eternity. Yeah, his trance. His eyes become stars.
Ooh, like Eternity.
And he sees Eternity. This shot.
I think we're gonna see. I think we're gonna see Eternity in the multiverse. Yeah. In fact, I think he's on the poster. But anyway.
But yeah, this was just a great moment for him to become this cosmic being, almost like through the window that we see humanity or consciousness through, and then for him to come back to humanity the moment that he says, like, that's why I had to put that tumor in your mother's brain.
Yeah, like
And
what?
Instantly blast the fuck out of him.
Yep.
100%
When it
agree
comes
with
down
that
to
choice.
it, moms, no matter how much of a father story this is, moms.
Yep.
Don't mess with the dude's mom.
Yeah, that's why you don't talk shit about people's moms.
Nope. It's old as time.
Yeah. Oh, and I also like how instantly he snaps out of that and it's just like just shoots him. Like,
Anyways, I just started blasting.
Yeah, 100%.
When I was in the theater, I'm not a big like yell in the movie theater kind of guy. Man, I was hollering at this moment because I didn't expect it. I expected him to like try to figure out what he meant by that statement, you know, like diplomatically. Nah.
And again, I know we're beating it, but like the father-son thing, like when the young lion finally realizes that he's stronger than the old lion.
Yeah.
Like that's just an intense dynamic.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So, all right. They, meanwhile, Gamora and Nebula find the pile of skeletons of all the kids that Ego killed. Mantis reveals.
That was so Stephen King and it.
Oh God.
I that makes me think of this. The reason why Peter woke from his slumber, the first thing that he asks, it's not about his mom, but my friends. What about my friends? He cares about his friends more than anything in the universe.
Yeah.
Right, you're right, because that's what Ego gets to, like, it's a distraction. You love these life forms, they just distract you from your mission.
Yeah, you got to let him go. That's why I put the tumor in your mom's head. It says a lot about Peter that he doesn't tell anybody that. You know,
Right.
Yeah.
In that moment, he sees this connection with his father, and he's like, what about this? And his dad could have comforted him. Instead, nah, let him go.
They've all grown, yeah.
So, all right. They, Ego, let's see. Oh, yeah. Oh, Mantis reveals to Drax Ego's plan, telling him they're in danger. She decides to help them. Ego decides to just force Quill. He parasitically pulls energy out of him to activate the seedlings, which begin to consume every world, including Earth.
Starting with Dairy Queen.
Yeah, starting with the Dairy Queen.
Oh, and that's Mr. and Mrs. Gunn.
Yeah, those are his parents.
Yeah, the parents taking the picture.
Sean and, James.
Yeah. So they... Ego gets interrupted when Yondu and Rocket arrive, crashing their ship into them, temporarily destroying Ego's human form.
Yeah.
That was cool.
It was like a Han and Chewie type entrance. It was just exciting, like, fuck yeah, they're here.
If this wasn't a James Gunn movie, this would have had, she came in like a wrecking ball as the needle drop.
Yeah.
Just as they break through the window, it would have been so funny, but I'm glad that didn't happen. But every time it happens, that's all I can think.
Yeah. Let's see. The reunited Guardians travel to Ego's brain at the planet's core, during which Yondu reveals that he kept Quill in order to spare him from the fate of Ego's other children.
Well, and they could have left.
Yeah.
You know, and floated through space to survive or whatever, but like, no, we have to kill him.
Yeah, we have to save the galaxy again.
The Guardians of the fucking galaxy.
Yeah.
Right. No more kids are going to be eaten.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And no one disagrees. No one tries to talk them out of it.
Yeah.
They're all
it's just
like, yeah,
this is what we're doing now.
You know, that hardcore, like John Wayne type dad thing. Like you spent your whole life, he said he was going to eat you and he kept you for thieving. And it was really to save your life, but he's never going to tell you that. So it's like fucking dying. Yeah. Thanks, Dad.
As they're in the middle of trying to destroy Ego's Chewy Nougat Center, the Sovereigns show up and attack them. They fight the Sovereign while Rocket makes a bomb using the stolen batteries, which he plans on having Groot plant in Ego's brain, although Groot does have some issue with which button to press.
I mean, that's some Abbott and Costello. That's some Lewis and Martin. Like, that is a comedy team.
Yes, absolutely.
The timing and brilliance.
And it's all voiceover and CGI. Like, it's crazy.
And Vin recorded each one.
Is Groot messing with him?
Genius level intellect.
No, because at the end he does he has to figure out which button at the end.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, he's by himself and confused for a moment.
Yeah.
He's just a little kid. They have like a 2-minute memory span.
When he points at it the second time, she's like, "No, that's the same button. How is that even possible?"
We didn't mention Zardu Hasselfrau.
Oh yeah, David Hasselhoff.
Kurt Russell, in his anger, says to Peter, "I tried to take on the correct form to please you," which, of course, Kurt Russell, that's the right form, baby, not that David Hasselhoff look. But he becomes David Hasselhoff, and I love that so much that David Hasselhoff was down.
Yeah. And it's almost like a little mini Expendables cast, because you got like Stallone and Russell and Hasselhoff.
Oh
and
my God.
It goes back to the story that Gamora loves. I love that story. He had the picture of Knight Rider in his binder.
Yeah.
Michael Knight, yeah.
Yeah, like I hate that story. That's supposed to be sad.
Yes.
She finds it so endearing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I told you that story when I was drunk. Why would you bring that up?
Yeah.
Because
cool to bring that back up.
I imagine she has an image of a perfect father in her mind too.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
oh yeah.
So all right. Ego's put to sleep by Mantis while they fight the Sovereign. They destroy all the Sovereign drones, but their ship gets destroyed in the process. All the Guardians jump off and survive.
This is more about fathers than the Eric Bana Hulk movie.
Oh, I would point out. That's right. I forgot to. That's what I wanted to mention. The end of this, the fight between Quill and Ego, is basically a remake of the end of Ang Lee's Hulk, with the Rock and fight.
Yeah.
They're just amorphous shapes fighting each other.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, 20 minutes.
And by the way, I'm very disappointed in us. I just realized we got through the entire Hulk episode without ever once saying you wouldn't like me if when I'm Ang Lee.
When I'm Ang Lee.
That comes to you now?
I can't believe I'm so disappointed in us.
Never too late for that pun. Oh,
wow.
Delicious.
Bro.
Anyway.
You still get credit for it. That's great.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yes. All right. Then Ego comes back. Everyone's trying to get to the surface to get to a ship picking him up. Peter taps into celestial powers and fights Ego. He turns into Pac-Man.
Mantis, look out.
Yes. Let's see. At the end,
we see Nebula save Gamora. She chooses to save Gamora by sacrificing her metal hand.
Mm-hmm.
Which is the first time she's ever done that.
Yeah.
Take my little hand.
My strong hand.
The bomb goes. The bomb goes off, and at that moment, Yondu saves Peter, flying him away from the exploding planet. He only has the one spacesuit, though, which he puts on Peter, sacrificing himself. He dies in Peter's arms in space.
He's Mary Poppins, y'all.
I love how Rocket, because Rocket gives him the suit and the jetpack, and it's the only one he has. He can't give him two because he doesn't have two. And when Gamora's going to go try to save Peter, and he stops her, or was it Drax? Whoever he stopped. And he says, I can only lose one friend today. In that moment, you think he's talking about Peter, but really he's talking about Yondu.
And the sadness in telling Yondu that he has to make that choice.
Yeah.
It's incredible. There's so many emotional moments in that, like, small slice of this movie. Drax and Gamora are yelling for Peter.
Mm-hmm.
And he just leaves.
Yeah. So, all right. Yondu sacrifices himself for Peter. He dies in the coldest space in Peter's arms. Then we cut. Nebula's leaving to find Thanos to try to kill him. The Guardians hold a funeral for Yondu.
They're placing all their little toys around.
Yeah.
With him.
Yeah.
Little trinkets.
To go into the incinerator.
Yeah.
And covering his face up with stripes.
Yeah, the strips of fabric.
cloth.
Yeah.
And what was it called? The colors of what?
Oh, Gord? I'm pretty sure.
Oh, of Gogord.
Yeah, the horn. Wait, the horns of Ogord, or is it the color? It was the horns of something and the colors of something.
Yeah, both.
I think the strips of fabric that they were putting over his face were actually like service. What do they call those? Service patches.
Yeah.
Like you would get in the military for serving in a certain conflict, and those were his like Cree slave.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So he, Kraglin and a bunch of Ravagers show up, and they do the colors and the horns. They acknowledge his sacrifice and accept him as a Ravager again.
Because Rocket went out of his way to contact his old Ravager buddies.
Mhm.
Just like, hey,
Yep.
so this happened.
Right.
Yeah, to let them know.
He just saved generations of children to come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He literally saved the universe.
Yes.
At this point.
Yeah.
But kids, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they made a point to say that it was kids, and that's why he was banished in the first place.
Mhm.
All the while doing the right thing.
Yeah. So they, Gamora admits she loves Peter. They become a couple.
Oh, no. She admits there's an unspoken thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's Sam and Diane.
I love that. I don't know what Cheers is.
How lucky to get to start over.
Yeah. We get 5 post-credits scenes. 5. It's ridiculous. This had to have been the height of the post-credit scenes.
But I love the graphics in the end titles, the like Trapper Keeper stickers that we used to. Yeah, they looked cool.
I'm glad that nobody else has done this. Like they let James Gunn be ridiculous with the amount of post-credit scenes, and they were like, "We got to do this in every Infinity War movie."
That would be too much. Oh my god. Yeah. So all right. So in the first one, Kraglin is trying to learn how to use the arrow and the fin.
Whistling with crackers in his mouth.
Yeah.
Okay, so was there an extra prototype fin laying around? Because when they incinerated Yondu, his fin went with him. So there had to have been another
obviously the technology is accessible because, originally I thought it was something unique to Yondu, but apparently not. So, yeah.
I thought it was a weird choice
fin
to make it technological.
I thought so too. But
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Well, yes, and because
Rocket is a genius.
he is. Rocket could have built one for him. In the comic, that Yondu controlled that because he was an expert whistler, and that was wood from a tree which responds to sonic vibrations. So he controlled it through the sonic vibrations of whistling.
So it was the arrow, more than the
itself.
the Mohawk.
Yeah. So anyone who could whistle that good could have done it. There was no like
the second fin was more reminiscent of the comic.
Yeah.
Yondu.
Yeah. So then in our second one, we see Aisha. She creates a new artificial being who she plans to use to destroy the Guardians. She says she's naming him Adam.
And he's coming. He actually is.
Yeah, they actually cast.
He's been cast.
He's been cast. Everyone was kind of supposing he'd show up for Infinity War since he was such a big part of the Infinity Saga, or the Infinity Gauntlet. Yeah.
I'm so glad he didn't, because they would have.
It was too much.
It would have been too quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they had
Doctor
opened
Strange
up.
played that role essentially.
That's true. Plus, they're getting more cosmic. You know what I mean? That was an Earth-based problem. It was an Avengers movie. They both were. But anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We see Stakar reuniting with his ex-teammates. Al, is this the portion?
Yes, this is. We mentioned Stakar Ogord, being Starhawk, joined the Guardians in the 90s. The Crystal Dude, that was like his second in command.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see that they gave him a name in the movie, but
Martin X, I thought was his name. Yeah.
Martin X was one of the
cleaner. Sorry.
Was one of the original 4 Guardians of the Galaxy, with the crystal body. Ving Rhames was supposed to be Charlie 27.
Oh.
Oh, not supposed to be. He was credited as Charlie 27, and he was one of the original Guardians from the 60s. And still around when Starhawk joined them in the 90s.
I love how big they made him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So big.
Yeah.
He's like bigger than the Hulk.
Yeah.
And then Michelle Yeoh was Oleta Ogord, who also joined the Guardians in the 90s, and was the adoptive sister of Starhawk.
Cool.
And I couldn't figure out who the red dude was.
But he's
that talks with like digital hands.
Well, mystical powers. I assume that was magic because that was very similar to Doctor Strange's hand wavy circular.
Oh yeah,
magic. Looked like fire in the air.
Huh.
Did you catch the little robot head? Who the voice was?
Who was it?
It's Miley Cyrus.
Oh my God.
All right.
So Miley Cyrus, and you know who voiced Martin X?
Who?
No.
Lex Luthor from Smallville.
Oh. That dude. Huh.
Yeah.
Huh.
The bald guy. I don't know. Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
I like him.
Yeah.
It's a good actor. Yeah.
I like him too.
But kind of cool.
Anyway.
James Gunn pulling up from every corner of, the cinematic, some of these people are incredible on their own, and having them all together would be really neat.
Oh God, yeah.
Well, and you see, obviously he seems like Taika Waititi in the sense that people love to work. Like, I want to get my chance to work with him. He seems so fun, kind of thing.
Yeah,
absolutely. So
Michelle Yeoh, just to mention, she Captain Barbeau, Captain Giorgio on Discovery.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Great character.
And
I mean, she's done so much, but
she's going to be in a movie that's coming out any day now. Everything All at the Same Time, I think is what it's called. But it's a
Everything All at Once.
Everything All at Once.
Oh,
it's a
that
multiverse movie.
Yeah,
that's not comic book related. It's her and Jamie Lee Curtis, and I'm excited for that because she's incredible.
Okay, huh? That's interesting. During the end credits, we briefly get a shot of the Grand Master.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Was that Jeff Goldblum?
Yeah. Yeah.
Ragnarok?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ragnarok,
That's what I thought.
And we get Zardu.
Kind of fuzzy, but
Zardu Hasselbrow at the very end too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
That's my favorite part of the whole credits. It's worth waiting for.
Yeah.
We saw Cosmo the Astro Dog and Howard the Duck, of course.
Howard the Duck,
showed up earlier.
God, I hope
he
he's
gets stranded on an asteroid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is ride.
Yeah. So and then the Stanley.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, we get the Stanley cameo as the last one, or the second Stanley talking to the Watchers, and the Watchers are tired of listening to him.
Right.
And we mentioned.
Go ahead.
And we mentioned Aisha, and they've got the genetic
Adam.
pod
Yeah, we talked about Adam.
Morlock.
Yeah, we mentioned Adam.
Cool.
So yep. Yeah, and that's it.
And teenage Groot or pre-adolescent. Groot.
That's right. Teenage Groot. We get teenage Groot.
Oh yeah.
Yes, I forgot that one. I'm not boring. You're
I
boring.
want to say preteen Groot at this point, but he's still got
tween.
Yeah,
that tween
having raised
Groot.
Yeah, having raised two teenagers, that is so like realistic.
I'm not boring. You're boring.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's boring? Tripping over your vines every day.
Yeah, that's I like this one a lot. I personally like it better than the first one.
Me too.
I know a lot of people say that the first one is a better as a movie, but I just feel like this one is so much stronger thematically. It doesn't have to do all of the heavy lifting. It doesn't have the MCU villain problem that the first one has.
And then people are dumb.
I think so. There's a lot of complaints about the third act of this movie being a CGI mess. This is the one movie where I excuse that because it makes sense.
Yes.
Because we are fighting inside a planet that is a person using powers to create whatever from nothing.
Well, different species, Quill's one of the only Terrans, so you're dealing with everything is made up, god damn it, especially in this.
Well,
it's
and
not like we flew to New York.
I get the complaint that like the end of Marvel movies ends with a big CGI battle.
Sure.
But this one out of all of them, I could forgive it easily. This one and Doctor Strange.
I want to make the point that that's why it took so long to bring this universe to life, because every time they tried to do it practically, it looked stupid.
Right.
So everyone complaining about CGI needs to shut up, or we never would have had the Infinity War to begin with.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for I'm all for a balance between practical and CGI, because practical gives
when
things
it's appropriate.
When it's appropriate, I feel like the modern Star Wars movies got the best, that balance between practical and CGI, and
and they always did, but they were cutting whole cloth,
Well, but I mean, like the Disney Star Wars in particular, because obviously the prequels were way too CGI, and the original trilogy didn't have CGI, of course, but the Disney's.
We talk about Jabba and New Hope. He was always there.
Anyways, so I had one. It's not even a question. It was just Mantis, between what she does here and what she does with Thanos, maybe the single most powerful being in the entire Guardians.
Yeah.
She takes down she subdues both Thanos and Ego. Like, that's pretty intense.
Yeah.
Single-handedly. So I don't know.
Until she gets hit by a flaming rock.
Yes.
Well, and it's interesting.
And she uses two hands usually.
Thanos is probably more powerful than Ego, who is a Celestial.
Yeah.
Like his durability factor, his ability to like withstand her powers.
Right. Ego, yeah.
But that doesn't. It's obviously superhuman because Thanos is a Titan, but I don't think it's super power. You know what I mean? I think he's just, like you said, durable and a badass. Not all Titans look like him. We know that from the comics, and
Well, and I think in his case, I think his power comes from will, kind of like how Hulk's comes from anger.
Yeah, that makes it. Yeah, Thanos' will and Thanos' drive to not be stopped.
Oh, he's a warlord.
He's this universe's Green Lantern.
Yeah. Yeah. So
without the shitty CGI costume.
So, I don't know.
Wait, he's all CGI? That's not a real
and he still looks better than Green Lantern did. Completely fake.
So, any last thoughts before we rank it, guys? No. All right. Let's go ahead. Let's bring up the rankings here. So at the top, we've got the first Guardians at number 7. I think where we put it in relation to that is going to be where, our first choice. I've expressed my opinion. I personally think it's better. I know that's not a universal opinion, so I thought I'd talk to you guys and see what we're thinking.
I still agree with you, as I have every time. I think it's better. I think it's better than the Winter Soldier, but people seem to like that movie. I don't know. The Captain America movie's kind of left me cold. No pun.
I think I'd be willing to put this above Guardians of the Galaxy. As a comic book movie, there is so much more comic book stuff that happens in this movie than
I think just as a drama, I think we really cracked it open as far as the shit that's happened, all the subtext and stuff. And I don't think it's contrived. I think we were right. So I don't know. It's working on a lot of cylinders.
I agree, Josh. We are right.
I've heard a lot of
always. That's how I operate.
I've heard a lot of complaining that there's not a clear, a clear line of conflict for Peter through the entire movie, like until the end, because Ego doesn't reveal himself to be evil until the end.
Sovereign on, he seems to be at odds, and then at odds with his own teammates.
Well,
he's looking for his father the whole movie.
Right.
He's on a search for his father.
I think
quest. The heroes.
I think his line of conflict is him versus himself and him versus his environment. Like it's him versus like his place in the universe. I think that's the line of conflict. It's not that.
We forgot to mention a thing.
What's that?
So Peter Quill, up till this moment, had the power of a Celestial. The moment he killed his father, he became just like everyone else.
Yes.
He chose to sacrifice the thing that made him special, and he didn't even know it. So it's not that big of a sacrifice. I love the nuance of that whole choice.
Yeah, I don't want to have any part of him.
Yeah.
You know, like that's not who made me. That's
Yeah.
It's very much killing the past.
I'll never be like you.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. You know, this entire movie is Peter versus himself, and it's Pete, and he like even fighting ego. It was versus what he thinks he needs to be, like what he like him versus his idea of being cool and his idea of being himself versus actually having a family.
It's as if choosing the character of ego as if the name maybe has some
right.
He's battling his own ego.
Do you think there's a metaphor there?
I wonder.
Was there a moon called Id?
No, that's where the penis fields are. Those are on Id.
The penis fields.
There's that memorial in Penis Fields.
So,
Central Park.
We didn't have to spend an hour on a meet and greet.
Yeah.
But I feel like they still rehashed a lot of themes from the first movie. Come on, we already knew that Quill was sexually attracted to Gamora.
Right. That was the worst kept secret.
Sexual love.
That was definitely the worst. Only Peter didn't think Gamora knew. He's the only one who didn't.
Well, that's I don't know. We're all men. We're not as aware of that, I think, as the women are. They know.
Yeah.
Are
we all men? Are we Devo?
Or are we Dancer?
The loosest senses.
The just again the opening title sequence really shows us everything that first movie established.
Absolutely.
Instead of giving us 20 minutes of reintroducing characters, it's a beautiful thing.
I forgot until now. I thought it was really cute at the beginning when she pulls out a gun. It's like I thought your thing was a sword.
Oh yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
Well, no, it's a giant beast. It's a giant tentacle beast. My sword, I went with guns.
But,
it's like, well, you didn't tell me you were going with guns, so.
And then she ends up using the sword.
Quibbling.
She ends up killing it with the sword.
Yeah.
Well, and Drax again thinks he's the one who does the job.
Yeah.
We've come full circle on this pod.
Ah, God, yeah. It's such a good movie. So
let's do it again.
All right. So Al, you're the only one who hasn't expressed an opinion on placement.
I could go anywhere.
I'm personally
I'll go with the consensus.
I'm personally saying we should put it between Iron Man and the Winter Soldier. I'm
I'm fine with that.
I'm flexible on it going above or below the Winter Soldier, but
I like it living next to Guardians because it's hard for me to choose which one is better of the two.
Okay. I can go with that. I can go for that. Can do. Thank you.
Will do. Yondu.
All right. We're going to put it right here, right above the first one. Right below the Winter Soldier. So, as soon as I finish typing it.
Okay, as we're typing the title into this, I really wish they had called this Guardians of the Freaking Galaxy. That should have been the title of this movie.
Yeah, that would have been cool. I wish they had used their one PG-13 F-bomb.
They didn't?
No, they didn't. They didn't get an F-bomb, and it would have been perfect in that one.
I like that it's implied, though. Also, I don't think they expected children to love these movies as much as they did.
I kind of like that Rocket chose not to use an obscenity
Yeah.
when Twig did.
Little Groot is around.
Well, little Groot
he doesn't
is
want to encourage his language.
Yeah.
They're all like language. Jeez.
Yeah,
why are you talking
whoa.
like that.
Yeah, well, and okay, Baby Groot is so much more vicious and hardcore than adult Groot was in so many ways.
Wisdom, man.
Yeah.
He lacks
Like
the wisdom.
Yeah, so
Restraint. That's what you get as you get older. Just restraint.
so
Children are brutal. They don't have any.
all right, that was Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, which means it's time to look forward to next week. And next week on Harmless Phosphorescence, we are going to be watching Wonder Woman.
Nice.
Somebody's got to, I suppose.
Yes. Well, a lot of people did. It was a very popular movie.
Yeah. It's not great, but 1984 is so good. So I guess we got to start somewhere.
I think it's all right. The first one, 84 is interesting. 84 is a crazy
I liked
fever
it a
dream.
lot.
I really like all the Wonder Woman movies. I think they're fun.
So yeah, that'll be good. We're going back to DC. Non-Snyder. We get a non-Snyder DC movie. So
Yeah, but obviously he was given notes.
oh yeah.
The gray color palette makes sense because we're in World War I for moments of this movie.
That's why it's boring to me. But anyway.
Oh, well, yeah. That's next week on Harmless Phosphorescence.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, well, thank.
Yeah, argue my opinion about World War One. Let's hear it.
No,
all right.
I don't care if you think World War One's boring because I don't have an opinion on World War One in either direction.
Retort.
Yeah.
It sounds like you had a retort.
I have an opinion.
I was just trying to move us on because we're almost at 2 hours. It doesn't. I'm not. It has nothing to do with anything anyone's saying.
I have an opinion on
You
World War
replied.
I. I'm glad it ended the way it did.
All right.
Yeah.
Establishing the beginning of World War II. Let's talk about this next week.
Thanks for Wonder Woman.
Yeah. So next week, Wonder Woman. Until then, thank you everybody for hanging out with us. This has been your host, Rose Smiley. And I'm off to go get a pretty necklace or a nice hat. Something to make the other girls go, ooh. Anyway, happy trails.
I'm Josh Cece, and I can't believe none of you guys have tape.
I'm Brian Lesh, but we are Groot.
I'm Alaric Weber, just needing to find a woman that is pathetic, like me.
Aw. Thanks.
She's out there, Al.
She is.
You didn't reassure him the other way.
We'll see you next week, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Love you.